What up, Kane fans? How we doing today? Let's let the chat fill up for a second. Tanka, what's going on, man? So, Saturday morning, thought I'd do another impromptu live stream. Couple things to update you guys on since the last show. First of all, let's welcome Daryl Porter Jr. back home to Miami. Welcome to the U, Daryl Porter. I think he's going to do very good things for this team, for this defense, because cornerback is one of the few question marks on this team. I think it's been pretty much the same positions the last few years. It's O-line, linebacker, and corner. And I would throw defensive end in there too. So, yeah, it's definitely a big boost to a position of need. I think Daryl Porter will, if not start, he's going to be heavy in the rotation, I feel like. He's a guy that he really reshaped his body since he came out of high school. I think he was weighing like $145 or something coming out of American Heritage, and now the dude's listed at like 186. I think like 5'10", 5'11", 186. Good size for a corner. Good quality cover guy. I believe I read it was 660 snaps. He was only targeted like 54 times. So I don't know how many of those snaps were passing plays. Let's give a rough estimate and say it was half. So let's say out of 300 some odd passing plays, you only targeted 54 times. And of the 54 times, the pass is only completed, I want to say like 60% of that time. So that's, to me, very solid. That tells me you're doing your job covering your man and they're not looking your way much. And when they do, they're not completing it that often. It's like I've seen much worse completion percentages than that. But the fact that they're not looking his way very often, I think is a good sign. Ayo, what's going on? I think they added a good one to this cornerback room. So I'm happy about that. I think it's going to be good competition for that room. And I think one side you got Tyreek Stevenson as the starter for sure, but that other side was the big question mark. He will either start or be heavy in the rotation. A lot of people are saying Al Blades doing a great job in the fourth quarter program. And he might surprise some people. I think Al Blades is much more suited for like a nickel corner or a safety position. But we'll see how they use Al Blades. I hope he gets some playing time this year. But I really think it's going to be either Daryl Porter Jr. or maybe some combination of Marcus Clark or Isaiah Dunson if their development takes a step forward this offseason. This offseason is going to be big for those two guys. If they take a step forward in their development, maybe it's one of them. Maybe Jaden Harris, I believe that's his name, who just came in this class, the 3-star recruit. If he might come in and get some playing time. So we'll see. It might be by committee early on, but I think Daryl Porter Jr. is going to have a big say in that. What's up, Les? Jay Kane, Idaho. Thank you guys for coming on. Yeah, just doing a little impromptu live stream because we've had some news in recent days. So Daryl Porter Jr. is now a Miami Hurricane. Welcome to the U. I think that was a great addition to this defense. So I'm not super worried about cornerback right now. I think you have enough guys that someone's going to emerge on that other side. I think Avante Williams will be used a lot in the nickel corner role. I think Takori Couch will be used a lot. He'll probably bounce back and return to that sophomore form, hopefully, that we saw in 2020. Wild Country says, I will play Blades at safety. I think that position suits him better. It's in his blood to play safety. Agreed. I think he's more of a roam the field kind of guy. And, of course, with the extra weight, the extra muscle he's putting on, I think he's going to want to hit some dudes. So I think a change for him would be good. If he wants any chance at playing at the next level, playing on Sundays, I think that's needed because I don't think he's a very natural corner, in my opinion. So there's that. There's also the rumors about Mitchell Agude. He announced his top 4. Miami's one of them. He is an edge rusher, outside linebacker from UCLA, 6'4", 245, so he's got great size. He's a guy that can definitely contribute to that defensive end room. Again, I don't know if he would start. He's put up some solid stats. In 2021, I'm looking at him right here. Well, let's combine the 2 years. So 2020, 2021, it was about a season and a half. It was about 18 games. 2020, they played half a season in the Pac-12, so remember that. In a year and a half worth of gameplay, 79 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, so he's got a bit of a nose for the football and for creating big plays, a few deflected passes, so could be a solid contributor to this team. What I love is his size and his maturity. He's a guy that can bring some leadership to that room. What's going on? Santouche. Chris, John, do you see Charlie Strong, Kevin Steele go in the transfer portal, get more linebackers? I think we get at least one. But I think you need to address edge rusher, and here's why. I think with linebacker, we're going to get a linebacker in the portal, 100%, at least one. But this is why I think edge rusher should be more of a priority, because, yes, you just added Nigel Lee Kelly and Cyrus Moss, who are both 5-star caliber players. I know their ratings didn't say that, but they're both top 50 recruits roughly, so they're like right on the borderline of 5-star. They're both going to contribute right away. But they're both freshmen, so you can't rely too heavily on them. You can rely on them in spots, rotate them in, but you need a guy that can be that starter, that can be a consistent presence coming off the edge, because that in turn will help the corners. If there's not constant pressure from somebody coming off the edge, then that could be a problem for these corners. I'm not worried about the safeties, but that edge rush helps everybody. The corners, the linebackers, everybody. You help the edge rush, then the linebackers with who we have already, Tyreek Austin Cave, putting on some good weight. Chase Smith, if he does what we're expecting him to do this year. Wesley Bassane, if he does what we're expecting him to do this year, at least contribute. And then you got Keontre Smith, who's been nothing but solid. Frierson, who's been nothing but solid. I think you have enough there, plus Charlie Strong, Kevin Steele, to improve that group. Yes, Avery Huff looking yoked too. You might see some contributions from him. You never know. I think you have enough raw material there that the coaches can help them develop, that I think you're all right at linebacker. I don't think I would love to go and grab some stud middle linebacker, and that's our starter for this season, and take our defense to the next level. Yeah. Is it an absolute dire need? Not as much as edge rush. Address the edge rush position, and then you're pretty good at linebacker already, and who you get in addition to that is going to be Grady. All right, so that's my thoughts on that. So Mitchell Agude would be a nice addition. Let's see who else enters the portal, because I think there's going to be there's more to come. There's going to be a big influx into the portal after spring. There's just going to be a lot of teams are over the scholarship limit. And right now, if my numbers are correct, I believe it was Chris or somebody in our chat actually wrote down for us who is on scholarship on this team. It's roughly 90 players. So if you take that into account, you're over your scholarship limit by 5. So if you want to keep adding people, then you have to let some people go. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. So it's going to be interesting to see who's let go, or who decides they want to test their luck in the transfer portal. So you're going to see some roster turnover over the next 2 to 3 months. And I think it's going to do nothing but improve the team, because Mario Cristobal does not make any decisions just on a whim. He doesn't do anything by accident. Everything is very, very, very calculated. So I'm excited for what's to come in the next couple months. Let's see what Les is asking. John, who do you see starting at defensive tackles? Leonard Taylor for sure, the first in that first D tackle position. Next to him, I see Jared Harrison Hunt, who Crazy that he was only playing at 270 pounds, but I could see that. The way his frame looked, he was definitely on the lighter side for D tackle, but a little too heavy to play D end. He needed to bulk up a little bit. Now he's up to like 290 something, which is, being a 3 technique D tackle where he's more of a like RJ McIntosh style, like athletic, getting after the quarterback, lining up between the guard and the tackle. He needs to be a solid at least 285, 290 if you want to do anything at this level. And I totally see that. I totally see him having a breakout year, kind of like how McIntosh had, kind of like that season McIntosh and Kendrick Norton had in 2017. Although I think, as much as I like Kendrick Norton, Leonard Taylor's another level talent-wise. So Taylor and Jared Harrison Hunt is who I see. One of my favorite topics, James Williams, DB or linebacker. James Williams is a playmaker. Wherever he fits on the field, plug him in there. If it's linebacker on one series, if it's dropping him back to safety on another series, he needs to be a Swiss Army knife for this defense. Or Avante Williams needs to be that Swiss Army knife, nickel corner, safety, and depending on the package, move him around and keep James at safety. I'm right now at his weight, I'm fine with him playing safety. But you would think in this strength program, I don't know, but the kid is 6'5", pushing 6'6". Very lean, 215, 220. As he gets older, you would think he could bulk up to 235, 240, just naturally. If he does that, he would have to be dropped down at that point to linebacker. So right now, I would lean more safety, but if you could use him at linebacker on certain passing downs, hey, I'm all for it. Building that championship team, nothing but beasts on the team. Yes, sir. Florida fans really think Napier can match Mario. Napier will call plays. Mullen is a terrible recruiter, but was probably the best OC in the country. Dan Mullen is one of the best play callers in the country. I totally agree with that. But yeah, he couldn't really close those big time commits. Recruiting wasn't his best attribute. If I think they rated back in the old NCAA games, they would rate the coaches and the teams. If you had to give him a rating, like in Madden, play calling for Dan Mullen was an A+. Recruiting's probably like a B-. So Napier's going to call plays, and also I heard that at FSU, why am I blanking on his name? Mike Norvell. That he's probably going to be calling a lot of the plays too, because their offensive coordinator is very new to that role, kind of being groomed. So that could work for them. But we saw how that worked out for Manny Diaz last year, trying to be the head coach, but also call plays on defense. It didn't work very well. I think more often than not, you need, at the college level, you need that CEO type of coach. How much Ehrenfeld, strength and conditioning coach, been a huge impact on the weight and conditioning of our guys? I'm liking Ehrenfeld. We've seen an immediate jump, absolute from the get-go. In month number 1 of this strength and conditioning program, these guys' bodies have changed. We saw an upgrade a couple years ago too with David Feely. But I think we're upgrading even further. This is version 3.0 now. And what I love what I'm hearing, that they're working on functional strength, agility, and flexibility for football. These dudes, with David Feely, yes, you remember that picture that went viral. They went from not so yoked to really yoked in that one picture a couple years ago. Jalen Phillips was a great example. James Williams, 230. You're saying he's 230 now, or he will bulk up to 230? Avante will be 205 pounds. Man, Avante at 205 pounds will be a load. That dude already tackles people like a heat-seeking missile. Imagine him bulking up 10, 15 pounds. Who are the most crucial recruits for the 2023 class? I would say right now, even though the most crucial positions on a football team are quarterback, left tackle, edge rush, maybe corner, maybe safety. Those are like the top 4 or 5 important positions as far as importance. But at the college level, you got to have that home run hitting running back. If you want to look at Georgia and Alabama, they always have a first rounder at running back. I need Mark Fletcher on this team or Richard Young. I'd be happy with either one. But Mark Fletcher, you got to have, I mean, that dude reminds me a lot of Willis McGahee. You got to have that dude on this team. Maybe even more explosive than McGahee, maybe even faster. And McGahee was a 4.29 guy, 4.3. That, I mean, if we have that, forget about it. And that'll start that, like a little bit of a factory from American Heritage down to Miami, which we need to create that. We need to create that pipeline. So Mark Fletcher's one. I think Jaylen Brown, absolutely, you got to keep him home. If you want to rope off South Florida, you got to start with our backyard, which is Dade County. Jaylen Brown plays at Gulliver Prep, which is literally a 12 to 15 minute drive from the University of Miami. No, even less. I would say it's a 10-minute drive from the University of Miami, from Coral Gables campus. You gotta keep that dude. He's literally in your backyard. You got to keep that dude here. He's arguably the best wide receiver in the country. Top 3 minimum. So I'd say Jaylen Brown, Mark Fletcher on offense. And on defense, you got to keep Ruben Bain at home as well. I think Coach Cristobal's making the necessary chess moves with his staff to land him. So if I can give you 3 right now, it's those. It's Bain, Jaylen Brown, and Mark Fletcher. Linebackers 235. Let's see what's going on with Jordan Miller. I mean, nothing specific. I just know Jordan Miller, I mean, he's turned himself into a nice rotational player on this team, and he brings a lot of veteran experience. He could be a guy that you plug in at that nose tackle, that zero technique position, because we will be running some 3-4 looks. I think for sure we will. So that would be your guy that you plug in at nose tackle. But Jordan Miller is going to rotate in a lot. He's that second guy behind either Hunt or Leonard Taylor. Bain, yep. Fletcher's film is amazing. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's more of a, again, I know it's not a position of need for us, honestly, because of the running back room we have right now. But man, you land Mark Fletcher, that to me is the next McGahee. That's your next first rounder that puts together, you're going to be watching him on draft day in a few years, and he'll have a ridiculous highlight tape of leaping over FSU defenders, scoring touchdowns, making Hard Rock Stadium erupt, running over some Florida Gator safety. That's the highlight reel dude you got to add to this team if you want to get to that next level where the Georgias, the Bamas, and teams like that are. You got to have that type of playmaker at running back. Malik Bryant and Derek LeBlanc. Those are both important guys. I don't think anyone on defense is more important than Bain, though. You need that, like I said earlier, you need that edge rusher to help the rest of the defense. All right, guys. So just wanted to give a quick. I'll stay on a few more minutes to answer any more questions. These are good questions so far. Let's see. We need Washington, the athlete from Killy. Yeah. You're talking about is that Robbie Washington or Bobby Washington Jr.? I mean, the Washington brothers. I would love them both. We'll find a way to play both of them. They're both very talented, and it's in their blood. Let's see. Another important one, Anthony Hill, the linebacker, that top linebacker that I think we're now going to be in the running for sure with, adding a guy like Charlie Strong. Bobby's his twin brother. Okay, got it. Yeah, I want them both. If I had to pick one, damn, probably Robbie, but I have to look at their tapes and compare. Is 88 the tall receiver still on the team? I think his name is Johnson. Feel like he's a stud wideout. Yeah, that's the one that put on a bit of a show in the spring game. I know who you're talking about. I think he was a walk-on. I don't know his status. I don't know if they gave him a scholarship already. But we have I mean, we have a lot of scholarship wide receivers. So you will see some casualties going into the transfer portal after the spring from the wide receiver room for sure. And I wish them well. A lot of them kind of necessary for them. It's going to help. It's going to help them. They're talented enough that a change of scenery, maybe in the group of 5, maybe another Power 5 team, who knows, that there's teams out there that need a wide receiver or they need an offensive lineman or whatever. Let's see. I think I'll end on this. Which players do you think are likely to transfer after the spring? Man, I definitely see a couple of receivers leaving. I know I've thrown out Michael Redding out there. Again, nothing against him. I just think he's had some injury issues, but that dude's a freak athlete, and he would be a welcome addition to any other team. So I wouldn't be shocked if a guy like him goes. We have 6 running backs right now. Wouldn't be shocked if one of the younger guys leaves. Daz, yeah, it could be another one. Another talented guy that, is just, there's too much in front of him, unfortunately. Keyshawn Smith going back out west. I'm a little nervous about that. I hope he doesn't, because I think Keyshawn Smith could have a breakout season. But you know what? If he leaves, best wishes to him. But if he leaves and Frank Ladson turns into what he could have been coming out of high school, then I might be okay with that. I mean, you got Jacoby George and Romello Brinson are the 2 guys that I think are really set to have breakout sophomore seasons. So I guess I'm not too concerned, but I would love Keyshawn to be part of that group. I just love the way he plays. Do you think more than 1 running back transfers? No, I think just 1. You need at least 5. You need 5. If 1 leaves, you got to add another one. 6 is a nice number to have, but I think because a lot of them are around that same age, that same year of eligibility, 1 might transfer. I hope not, because I think you can't get too much better than what we have at running back right now with what's available out there. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. 58 in the chat. Please hit the like button on your way out. Got a busy day ahead of me, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But just want to talk a little Canes on a Saturday morning, as I love to do, because Saturday mornings usually filled with college football, and it is now football season. So, very sad. But don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, baseball Canes, basketball Canes, both have big games today. Both are at home, if I'm not mistaken. So go out and support them. Go to the campus. Tickets aren't super expensive for those games. Go check them out. I love to go to the Light and see a baseball game from time to time. I think they just suffered their first loss yesterday to Harvard. They have a 3-game set with them this weekend. Go out and support them. I think they play at 7 tonight, and I think they play at 1 or noon tomorrow. So I think they got a solid team, and I think the Hoops team are poised to make a nice little tournament run, hopefully. Let's see where they get seated. All right, guys. It's all about the U. Go Canes.